Finally got my shitty capture card working, so I figured I'd do a video. So I found this little gem of an indie game on Xbox Live Arcade like 5, 6 years ago, I don't know. And like when I first saw it, I was like, oh, this is stupid, this is kind of goofy, I like it, it's fun. But after just fucking around with it when I'm bored and thinking about it, it's actually probably one of the most well-designed games I've ever played. And I think if you want to get into game development, or you are a developer already, you should track this game down and try playing it. Just total blind run, don't watch this video yet, because I'll spoil the experience for you. But otherwise, here we go. So just for a little background here, these floating head things are called yukkuris. The name comes from a Japanese phrase that basically means like chill out or take it easy or whatever. And so the point of the game is you go around beating the shit out of them to free some captured Toho character, I guess. I don't know that much about Toho, but it's some shitty 3D CG renders, and if you beat the game you get these like vaguely suggestive poses for a few pictures as a reward. So on the surface this game sounds fucking retarded. Why would I ever say that it's one of the most well-designed games I've ever played? Simple. Even if you don't understand a single word of Japanese, you can still figure out all the mechanics and controls within like 10 seconds of picking up the game. There's these big floating heads, and when they get near you, they start to hurt you. You can punch them back to hurt them. They drop these glowy ball things that make your colored bars go up. Whenever you max out a bar, it boosts your stats. Like the heart gives you more life, the eye gives you more vision range, etc. You find a treasure chest and it either gives you more life back or it gives you more time back. Now obviously this is a pretty simple game, so there's not a whole lot of mechanics that you actually have to figure out. But the important thing is that you can figure them out with absolutely zero explanation. This is something I think all developers should consider while they're making a game. If you take your game and you translate it into a language that the player can't read or understand, are they still able to figure out all the mechanics on their own? If yes, then congratulations, you have a well-designed game. Obviously this isn't going to apply to every single genre out there. If you're making a 4X game or a strategy game, you're going to need to convey the mechanics with words somehow. And if you're making an RPG, the main draw is usually that it has a bunch of words. But for action games or arcade-style games, this is a pretty important lesson, and one that I think developers could do with learning, because if your game mechanics are well designed enough that the player can figure them out without having to be told anything, then you don't need fucking tutorial prompts. In fact, you won't need a tutorial at all. Just let the player mess around with the mechanics in a safe environment, and they'll figure it out on their own. This might not seem that important, but it actually sets a pretty big precedent for the game. Firstly, it tells the player that you're willing to trust them to figure things out on their own. No one likes being fucking patronized. Second, it'll make the player more invested in your game. They're gonna feel smart because they figured out what to do on their own without having to sit through some boring tutorial sequence or be told, hey dummy, this button does this. I mean, it seems like this should be obvious, but there's so many games out there that don't even bother to take advantage of this. Anyway, that's just my 2 cents. Even if you don't really care about it from a game development standpoint, this game is pretty fun considering how basic it is. And if you got an extra $1 to waste, I'd recommend picking it up.
Yeah.